KTBB Friday morning news time is 7:51. Garth Mayer and the crew, as we do every Friday, we check in with KTBB owner, general manager Paul Gleiser. A little time on vacation with the wife and family. He's more lovable than ever.
Lovely to be back, by the way. It's only so much vacation one guy can stand. We're sponsored by K.E. Cellars, Tyler's Old World-style boutique winery in the French Quarter on South Broadway across from the mall. A little user's manual on this feature before we start. This is not a lecture, it's a conversation. If you have an opinion on what we say here, pro or con, you're not doing your duty unless you participate. Go to ktbb.com/youtellme and share these commentaries via Facebook and Twitter. Subscribe so that you don't miss any of our posts. Share the video version of this commentary via the embedded YouTube video, but most of all, let us hear your voice. Post your comments and then make sure your friends in your social network are in on the conversation. You'll see all the tools for joining in at ktbb.com/youtellme. Also, please join me on KFXK Fox 51 TV for You Tell Me during their 9 o'clock primetime newscasts on Tuesday and Thursday. We cover even more of what's on your mind there. Look up the word epilogue, and one of the definitions you will find says, the final scene of a player story that comments on or summarizes the main action. The word epilogue, thus defined, now applies to the Barack Obama administration. Of the 7 presidents that have come since I have been voting, 3 have suffered terms with long, unpleasant epilogues. By that I mean after a certain point, everything that happened in their remaining terms constituted little more than unhappy commentary. For Richard Nixon, the epilogue began when the Watergate story completely took over the daily narrative of his presidency. Once the 18-minute gap in the White House tapes was revealed, everything that happened in Nixon's remaining months in office was nothing but commentary on his malfeasance with respect to the Watergate break-in and cover-up. Nothing else that Nixon tried or accomplished mattered after the Watergate story reached critical mass. For the next elected president, Jimmy Carter, the epilogue began on November 4th, 1979, a year to the day before he would be voted out of office. The event was the storming of the U.S. Embassy in Iran by a group of so-called students and the taking of 66 embassy personnel as hostages. For 444 days, the entire narrative on the Carter presidency revolved around the fact that the United States was apparently impotent in the face of what amounted to an act of war by the extremist regime that had taken over Iran. 52 of the 66 original hostages were held until minutes after Ronald Reagan took the oath of office on January 20th, 1981. Nothing that Carter did from November 4th, 1979 on, including a botched rescue attempt, mattered. Our current president now finds his administration in epilogue. When historians write the text, the epilogue of the Obama administration will begin with the summer of recovery that wasn't. The narrative will report the fact that the American people woke up and angrily noticed that a mind-wrenching increase in federal spending and a hitherto unimaginable explosion in federal debt accomplished nothing, save for the impoverishment of generations yet unborn. The summer of 2010 marks the turning point for President Obama. Henceforth, nothing he does will matter. Everything will revolve around the fact that the post-partisan, bridge-building pragmatist that millions of Americans thought they were voting for was finally and irrevocably revealed to be nothing but a tone-deaf, left-wing ideologue who is incapable of changing course even in the face of terrible results. Epilogue presidencies are not pleasant, and this epilogue will be a particularly long one. The last months of the Nixon and Carter administrations were chaotic and unsettling. Such will be the case, I fear, with the Obama presidency. We here at street level, meanwhile, the men and women who make the economy work, are thus left to run out the clock on this prince of fools, all the while hoping that the fools who made him their prince have learned a hard lesson. That's my word. What's yours? Go to ktbb.com/youtellme, and you tell me. Have you tried the Keeper Solid Stage 2007 Shiraz? If you haven't, what are you waiting for? You may have heard me mourning the passing of my beloved 2006 Cabernet, but I must tell you, I'm dealing with the grief rather well, and with the help of this lovely Shiraz, it's easier. The Shiraz grape is the most popular wine grape in Australia, a pretty good winemaking province itself, by the way, for a reason. It's bold and rich and versatile. It goes particularly well with broiled meat and meat grilled outdoors, but it's also great company in front of the TV or alone with a good book. The Keepersall Estates 2007 Shiraz is further fine evidence of the coming of age of the Keepersall Winery, and thus I urge you to visit K.E. Cellars today after work for a taste. You can do that because K.E. Cellars is a working winery with a tasting room. Try any wine in the collection before you buy it. You simply cannot make a mistake. K.E. Cellars, Tyler's Old World-style boutique winery in the French Quarter on South Broadway across from the mall, and online at KECellars.com.